If you want true comfort, call on God. God will provide comfort all day long. He will provide comfort even when you can't find any. Now, when we're talking about comfort, we're talking about sometime when we're traveling and we get tired on the road and we're looking for a nice place to spend the night that we can get comfortable. And even that's not comfortable sometimes, because sometimes we're being misled by the way the hotel looks, because from experience, we traveled somewhere and we stayed at this hotel and we checked in and it looked good until we got to the room. When we got to the room, it just was not up to par like we think. So even though we stayed, it was an uncomfortable stay. We asked God to bless the place, and He did. But it was, but personally inside, it was just an uncomfortable place. Even though, we were there, we were misled. So I want you to understand tonight that God's comfort is all around us. I mean, there's just not anything that He, that He's not going to provide for us. He provides us comfort all the time. Now, when you're talking about comfort, are you really talking about sitting out in the elements, or are you talking about sitting in a nice chair, or laying down, or putting your feet up, or things of this nature? But what about safety? That God protects us. God keeps His wings, His arms around us, and He keeps us in His fold, and we come to Him with our burdens, and He'll give us rest. Now, when we come to Him with our burdens, we're going to have to leave them burdens there. We can see them, but we cannot come back to pick them up. See, when we call on God for comfort, and we go and take our burdens and we lay our burdens at God's feet, and He tells us to come to Him for rest, we're not to pick up those burdens anymore. We are to leave those burdens right there. That's what He wants us to do. He wants us to leave those burdens there, and He wants us to trust Him that He will make everything all right. Now, do we do that? No, we don't. No, we don't. We figure that we can provide our own comfort, and sometimes when we figure that we're going to do these things, we mess it all up. And so we're going to have to call on God, just like Moses put a blessing on Benjamin and Levi and Reuben, the same way that God said, that Jesus put a blessing on us. That if we come to Him, bring our burdens to Him, He would give us comfort. He would give us comfort. Now, He would give us comfort when? All day. Not just part of the day, but He'll give us comfort all day. And we can rest in between God's shoulders. Now, when we literally and figuratively speak of comfort in God, we know that He gives us rest. And when we call on God, we know for sure that He's going to provide rest for us, or peace of mind. He gives us, and the things that come through our lives, we don't want those to be taken away. We just want to make sure that those things don't get in the way of us praising God. We got to make sure those things don't get in the way. So if we're going to call on God, then we call on God for comfort, because He is the God of all comfort. Whatever is going on in your life today, God can ease your mind about it. Now, what I ask you to do is, when you're asking God for comfort, you want to ask God not to take those things away from you, but to give you the strength to endure through all of those things. That's the comfort that you want. You don't want the comfort of those things taken away. You want the comfort that even though there's stress and strife and things going on in your life, that you can rest at ease. You can be at ease, knowing that God is going to take care of all of it. Now, God's going to take care of all of it. All you have to do It's just believe that God is going to take care of it. Now, again, we can believe in God, but do we really believe God? That God said that He never forsake us, nor leave us nor forsake us. Do we believe that God said, bring me all your burdens and I'll take them? Because His burden is light and His yoke is light. Our yoke is heavy. Our burdens are heavy. So He's saying, come to Him, because His burden is light and His yoke is easy. So we can trade our stress and strife for God's comfort. What better thing to do? Now, you're not going to trade your friend when you listen to your problems. When you tell your problems to your friend will look at you and say, I heard your problem, but these are my problems. But when you're talking to God, you tell God your problems. God said, well, you leave those problems right here. I'll take care of all of them. That's the comfort that we want. That's the comfort that we need all day. That's the comfort that God's going to provide for us. That's the comfort. He is the God of all comfort. So if we're looking for comfort, then we need to call on God. We don't need our friends. We shouldn't go to our friends. If we're going to tell our friends our problems, we know our friends can't help us. They got their own problems. But if you want comfort, then you call on God. You call on God. And you do that today. Now, today, it seems a little comfort today, but I'm outside, and if you want to call this comfort, then you can call it comfort. But there's some other strife and things going on, in my life, and things that I'm worried about, and every time I come across something that's big and happening, I call on God and ask God to help me. I ask God to give me the strength to endure. And when I call on Him, I leave it there. And I let Him take care of it. That's my comfort. That's my comfort. I know that God is going to take care of all of it. He's going to take care of everything. And all we've got to do is call on God. He will provide for us. All we have to do is call on God. So today, I want to ask you to call on God if you want comfort in your life. If you want relief from those burdens. Now listen, they're not going to go away, but God's going to give you the strength to endure. And that's the comfort you want. The strength to endure. That's the comfort. The strength to endure. You don't want them taken away. You want to pray that, in fact, as James said, we should count it all joy when we fall into diverse temptations and those stress and strife, because now we know that with a smile on our face that we can come through all of these things because we call on God. God's going to give us comfort and rest. And He's going to give us comfort and rest every time we call on Him. So today, let's start today. If you listen at the broadcast today, call on God. Call on God. And He'll be the comfort that you're looking for. Well, they tell me that my time is up now. I want to thank you for joining me today. Drop me an email at talkingbible@churchdotcom.org. That's Talking Bible @churchdotcom.org. Or you can look at us on the web. At my webpage is www.churchdotcom.org. That's www.churchdotcom.org. I'm the Reverend Doctor, and have a blessed evening, and may God have mercy on our soul.